10, 9, ignition sequence start, 6.
Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Whack Whack Attack. Today is May 3rd, and we've got a whole lot of stuff in today's episode, so let's get started. So first we're going to start with this article from CoinDesk, where they say Binance, Coinbase endure 700 million in staked Ether outflows as decentralized liquid staking protocols gain. Investors are ditching the centralized exchange giants to stake their ETH holdings on decentralized alternatives amid regulatory concerns and as they chase higher rewards, crypto analysts say. So let's have a look and see what's going on. So the net outflows that are going from Binance and Coinbase, of course, and they're going to, let's see this information. This says decentralized liquid staking protocols, on the other hand, have enjoyed a sharp rise in deposits. Frax Finance and Rocket Pool are two of the largest gainers, have recorded net inflows of 56 million and 68 million respectively. The development has followed like blah, blah, blah after Shanghai and all that kind of stuff. So the argument is being made is that, people are leaving the centralized exchanges because of the regulatory concerns and they're moving on chain, right? And they're going to places like Rocket Pool and others. And here they're saying that, Lido is also gaining, but not as quickly. And I'm really hoping that that means that, people will be leaving Lido in size when that time comes. So there's some really good information in this article about Kraken leaving, people leaving Kraken and stuff after their regulatory issues. So this really has kind of set the stage for the last few days, and that has been showing in the price. So we talked about Iceman on yesterday's episode, and here we had some more buys coming in from Iceman yesterday, so much so that Iceman was noticed by Spot on Chain, which I guess is Look on Chain's little brother website, Twitter account. It says rETH Whale has bought 63,000 RPL, over $3 million worth over the last 2 days. Average price, I think that's what it means, at $47.63. Most recently, the whale swapped 700 ETH for 27,000 RPL and is now the 22nd largest holder of RPL, as the person also has 5,000 ETH worth staked with Rocket Pool as rETH. So that's nearly 10 million there as well. So over 13 million, I think, worth of Rocket Pool protocol tokens, including rETH and RPL. So that really did nice stuff to the price, and the price had a nice couple of days because of rETH Whale's buying, or as we like to call him, Iceman's buying. And then it says over here, seems bullish on RPL. The price is already up 4.75% over the past 24 hours. And then there's a link to the Iceman's wallet. And he says once more, then they're kind of plugging for themselves over here. Which is really, really cool to see. So then Bosi had this tweet saying, Hal Press said that, Pepe, was the meme token of the last few weeks. Hal Press is saying, I think Pepe's profits will flow elsewhere, but it won't be for other meme coins. It won't be for traditional alts. It will be for ETH. It won't be to BTC, and it won't be to cash. Where it will go will be cleared in about a week. So Bosi replied by saying, Pepe profits will flow into RPL and rETH. I can feel it in my plums, and my plums are never wrong. So this is a tweet from a couple of days ago, or yesterday actually. And then we started seeing large transactions overnight coming into RPL. It kind of started at like 5 a.m. Eastern time. And, we had buy, more and more buys coming in, a whole lot of buys coming in. And it was beautiful to see. The price obviously responded positively to all this buying pressure. Some of the buys were really big size buys, like this one's $200,000, lots of them above $50,000. The price went over $51 on Uniswap, right here, $51.02, and they hit $51 and I think 80 cents on Binance, which is nice price action over the last few days. And then yeah, so a lot of people in trading were kind of talking about this, like, who's this person, what are they swapping, what are they coming in out of. So here's their address, and it looked like they were selling all their LDO token stash and buying RPL with it, which of course, people in trading really loved, and we were all really happy about that. So we were so happy that here we had so Bossy here said, thought my plums were joking. This Pepe whale with 15,000 ETH just bought $2.3 million worth of RPL, which was nice to see from Bossy, but the link was going to the person selling their Lido tokens and buying RPL. But hey, when the narrative's there, then why not take it? So then what happened because of that was the RPL token hit a new all-time high against the Lido token at 26.41. So that is not an all-time high that I'm tracking, but it's definitely one that I've looked out for a couple of times, and it's really nice to see that we're doing so well against Lido. So Lido's inflows have been around the LDO token price since Shanghai Capella has gone down 10%, whereas RPL has gained, I think, 10% in that time or something like that. So don't quote me on those percentages there, but that's one of the reasons why we're at an all-time high against the LDO token, and that's really nice to see. I like it. And then of course, with the buying that's happening, then we're also getting ETH deposits into people minting rETH. So here there's another whale buying 2,758 ETH worth of rETH and making a big splash. So the Denim, I think, was talking in trading about how there's a correlation between the growth of the of the Rocket Pool TVL and the price of RPL. And Evan, who's IB1 gymnast, has made this noticed this correlation before as well, that as the TVL of Rocket Pool goes up, the price of the RPL token kind of like follows along with that. And I think that's what's happening here is, since Atlas has gone live, we've had a few really great weeks of inflows into the protocol, and not financial advice, of course, never financial advice, but it seems like that's being reflected in the price. We've held up really well since the all-time high of a few weeks ago, and I'm really hoping that this is the beginning of a slow grind upwards over the next few weeks or maybe a month. That would be amazing to see. So in celebration of all these, the price action stuff, Kevster here made a new Rocket Pool logo with with green instead of orange, and then Mav made it into a emoji on the Discord that is GR Rocket, like green, or G Rocket, green rocket. So everyone once that was made into an emoji, everyone kind of started spamming it. There you go. So here Mav made it into an emoji, G Rocket, and then that's all everyone posted for a while, as you can see on the screen. So that was nice. It was a really happy morning in trading this morning, which is great to see. Okay, moving on now. We had the Rocket Pool community call yesterday that featured dappnode. And dappnode, of course, are working on the integration for Rocket Pool into their software, which is really great to see. And they're doing it all by themselves. There's no payment coming their way from this. So good job, dappnode. After the dappnode part of the call finished, then Mav and Joe were talking about things that have happened in the last few weeks, and there was some bread that was dropped about a wallet integration that's coming very soon. And for those of you who've been following along with Rocket Fuel for the last few months, you'll know that it's most likely that they're talking about a Ledger wallet integration that should be coming hopefully very soon. I think it's a really good time to get that Ledger integration, because that could potentially lead to a whole lot of rETH minting happening directly from the Ledger, their front end, and we're in a position where we can absorb 90,000+ ETH right now, which would be really good if we could do that. So thank you for that information. And of course, Aave mode hopefully will be coming soon too. That has not gone to a vote yet on the Aave system, but hopefully that'll happen as well. Okay, so there's this Twitter account called Rocket Pool Smoothie, and anytime there's a big block proposal over 1 ETH that goes to the smoothing pool, this tweet channel will broadcast it out. And yesterday, recently, there's been some nice blocks that have been coming into the smoothing pool. And if you have a look at the smoothing pool right here, you'll see that we now have 74.7% of nodes in the smoothing pool, and nearly 60% of all mini pools are in the smoothing pool as well. The main thing I want to show you all is this we've had 20 days and 7 hours of the smoothing pool this month, and in that time we've had 277 ETH coming into the smoothing pool in that time. My rule of thumb is for a good month is to have 10 RPL 10 ETH for every day, and that's kind of been a nice heuristic. So we're way ahead of that at the moment. We're coming in closer to 13, nearly 14 RPL. I keep saying RPL. 14 ETH per day into the smoothing pool, which is a really strong month. As there's been a lot of on-chain activity, there's people paying for MEV to get ahead of transactions, and then all of that is coming to the smoothing pool, which is really, really great to see. So hopefully the smoothing pool will have a good month. Of course, we've had a whole lot of big node operators here getting added to the smoothing pool, like Dokia Capital and EonWe.eth, and then this a new one that is at 277 mini pools. So that will be divided out amongst more people, but it's definitely a positive trend. Okay, we have some news on the grants and bounties for people who might be waiting. So the grants awards was supposed to go out on the 1st of May. Schifrin here made a post on the forum explaining why the grants have not been publicized yet. And Schifrin explains, he says, "Hello Rocket Poolers, our grants and management committee award discussion process is in its final stages. We're currently in the process of carefully documenting the last few votes. It is of the utmost importance to us that each community member's valuable input is taken into account and duly recorded. Your understanding and patience is greatly appreciated. As soon as the final votes have been tallied, I will promptly announce the reward recipients." And someone inside the GMC told me that should be happening today. So that person inside the GMC is me. Yeah, you should be getting the information on May 3rd in the afternoon Eastern time. So that's really great. Okay, we talked about these 2 new votes that came up yesterday, and I'm just going to cover them really quickly because they're at around 53 and 54% quorum reached. So we did have a couple of the bigger voters coming in and voting here. It's like Valdorf came in and Romana came in with their voting power. Ken did as well, and Yuki. So they that vote has gotten closer to quorum. Of course, neither of them are at quorum yet, so I'm just using this opportunity to tell you to go vote because it's really important that you do so. If you have any voting power at all, go and vote and get that done. Okay, so David Hoffman popped into trading today, and he had this information saying, "Good morning, Rocket Poolers," and he says, "I want to say thanks for the help recently with explaining Atlas things for the bankless community." So of course that was nice. And then he goes on to say, "Also here to say we're locking in Ken to speak for Rocket Pool at permissionless," and he said he's stoked. So this is really nice information here about permissionless. Of course, is the bankless conference that they have every year. This year it'll be held, I think, September 11th to September 13th in Austin, Texas. And a few weeks ago, David Hoffman came into trading to ask if there was anyone from the community who they could kind of sponsor to speak on behalf of Rocket Pool. And there were a few names mentioned, and I guess Ken, who has spoken at a few conferences before, especially I think it was DevCon last year in Bogota. Ken spoke about the smoothing pool and stuff. So he's been representing Rocket Pool really well, and here we had here we had David say that Ken will be speaking at permissionless, which is really, really good news and really wonderful to see. So Ken is a fantastic representative of the Rocket Pool community, and there are very few people who are more in know and knowledgeable about Rocket Pool than Ken. So I think Ken's going to be a really, really great person to speak about. Kev said, "Oh, that's cool. Do we know the topic already?" He says, "I bet it's the smoothing pool." And then David said, "Well, you happen to be chatting with the topics organizer, so," and he says, "I think it'll be that Ken will be on the panel." He says, "Colin Myers from oDAO is moderating. The idea is the future tech upgrades to LSTs, and yeah." And then David Hoffman then goes and gives a little bit more information about Bankless, and he says, "I want to convince the Blockworks team to carve out a corner of the venue so we can have a dodgeball tournament and pitch all the tribes against each other." So he has this idea of Optimism versus Arbitrum, ZK Sync versus Polygon, Rocket Pool versus Lido, Dave DAO versus Ben DAO, Bankless versus Blockworks, etc. So so he says that's not happening yet, but that's his idea that he's been having for a while. Kersa had this great joke. He says, "Rocket Pool versus Lido, that's not fair. 2,000 people versus 5 people." So that was really great moment from Kevster there. But and then Letter says, "But those 5 are professional dodgeball players, you see." so that's really nice. But yeah, I think that's going to be a really nice event, and it's great that they'll have Rocket Pool a representation there, like official, well, not official, but like community Rocket Pool representation. Okay, Blockworks, mentioning them just now, is they wrote like this information about Rocket Pool. They're saying Rocket Pool's Atlas upgrade went live just 2 weeks ago, and the protocol has already seen 15% increase in the total ETH staked. With the release of LEB8 mini pools, node operators can now generate 45% more ETH staking yield than solo stakers. And here it says, SMYY guy breaks it down, and there's a thread with the information. It says RPL has outperformed ETH and its peers since the start of the year. Rocket Pools has seen consistent ETH inflows since the Atlas upgrade went live. Let's dive into the changes Atlas made. So there's this really nice thread here from Blockworks giving this information about how Rocket Pool has kind of changed and like how it's growing and what's been going, and they've been using some really nice images that are very similar to Dr. Worm's dashboard right here. This is source Dune at Dr. Worm. So Dr. Worm's getting some nice representation here on very official media that's going out. And this article's actually got some really good information in it, like even talking about the optimized mini pool queue and how that is helping better the rETH rewards rates. And yeah, definitely go and give this thread a read. Poopman, of course, who we covered on Rocket Fuel a couple of days ago, was also kind of giving himself a plug there as well. But yeah, Rocket Pool, this is a really nice article that Blockworks put out. So I just give it a retweet and a like. Definitely go and give it a full read because there's some good information in there. There won't be too much information if you're listening to Rocket Fuel that you don't already know about, but maybe we can give it a boost across the socials. Okay, yesterday we talked about Blockspace and how they want to become a SaaS on top of Rocket Pool. Not sure when, I think into their Discord or talked to people in their community somewhere about some information about their business model. And there was a comment here from Noshua about asking that. So there's a screenshot from Nils, who's from the Blockspace team, saying, "Good morning, Noshua. About the business model, yes, your math is right. Since we're also a validator on the Lido network, where we only get a 15% commission on ETH rewards, the math for our Rocket Pool setup isn't too bad in comparison. This fact, combined with some economies of scale in our infrastructure, allows us to run the mini pools comparatively economically, and we are happy to pass this discount on to our customers. In addition, we align our incentives with the Rocket Pool protocol, as we have a significant stake in the Rocket Pool token, which we will be stacking and staking for our users." for our users validators as a bond requirement of the Rocket Pool protocol. This means that we not only provide a service, but we also have a vested interest in the success of Rocket Pool. Now, this is a really nice way of doing things. Of course, because they're buying the RPL token, so I'm going to say that. But I feel like this idea has been talked about quite a lot in the Rocket Pool community about kind of like, it's kind of a marriage, right? Like just on a custodial scale where people will put their ETH in, Blockspace will bring their RPL and they'll stake it, and they'll give the ETH stakers all their staking rewards, and Blockspace will keep all their RPL rewards to themselves. And that is a perfectly fine model. That's what they want to do. Of course, it's slightly different from what NodeSet are trying to do. NodeSet, of course, it's kind of... Okay, I don't know the full details, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but I feel like NodeSet are going for the slightly more decentralized angle and a slightly more deeper integration into the Rocket Pool community, because they'll have Rocket Pool node operators running the NodeSet validators, and also they won't be custodial in any way. So those things that make it slightly different. But hey, just like on Ethereum staking, you want different flavors to suit different people, and I think that as long as they're building on top of Rocket Pool, then that is really cool in my book. So good job, Blockscape. Blockscape. I came across this really nice post in ETH Finance from yesterday where Ethical Trade had this idea of having the EVMavricks joining their mainnet DAO, becoming a Rocket Pool oDAO member. It says, aren't we an ideal and trustworthy partner that highly values decentralization? And then it goes on to give some more information. Just realized how unwelcoming this post might feel to a new member, so let me explain a few things for our most recent friends. A while back, ETH Finance launched its own NFT collection, EVMavricks, and used the occasion to launch a DAO, the mainnet DAO, from its website. It says the mainnet DAO advances the decentralization of Ethereum's Web3 ecosystem by aligning shared member incentives with funding, development, and promoting public goods and education. Rocket Pool is a liquid staking protocol, and the oDAO is a group of special Rocket Pool nodes that are responsible for the administrative duties required by the protocol that cannot be achieved by smart contracts due to technical limitations. The O in the oDAO stands for Oracle. So basically the idea here is to have an ETH Finance native DAO help Rocket Pool with some of its duties. The job pays rather well, and the money could, according to the mainnet DAO's mission, be used to advance the decentralized Ethereum Web3 ecosystem. So I really loved this post. I've been talking on Rocket Fuel for a while about how we need more oDAO members, and we need as many members as possible. And EVMavricks is a community that I'm a part of, so much so that I'm wearing my EVMavricks t-shirt today in solidarity with this idea. I think the mainnet DAO, it'd be smaller than other DAOs that we have on, also other oDAO members we have on the oDAO, but these guys are super passionate. They're super well aligned with the Ethereum protocol. They're already working on Rocket Pool stuff. The whole community is very knowledgeable about Rocket Pool. They're very supportive of Rocket Pool. If it wasn't for ETH Finance community, I wouldn't be in the Rocket Pool community myself. This is where so many members of our community started, where so many members of our community are still present and really call their home on online crypto communities. ETH Finance and then EVMavricks as an extension of that is a really, really wonderful organization, and I would be so happy for them to be part of the oDAO. The money that they would get from that I totally believe would be strongly going towards public goods in Ethereum, and I think that they'd be really good members of the oDAO, so much so that I personally am happy to put up their bond that they would need to run their oDAO Oracle node. I can let them borrow my RPL to do that if that goes forward. So this would be something I support very, very strongly because it's a community that I absolutely love, and a lot of people on the comments here were giving really good feedback as well. So they were saying things like, how do we make this happen? Phiz, of course, is a member of the EVMavricks and also part of the oDAO through ETH Staker. People saying this is such a good idea, not sure what the oDAO would do with all what the mainnet DAO would do with all that money. They could hire full-time people to create public goods, or they could give out Gitcoin grants, have a trading fund. One of the people said that they could 10x or 100x even here. Matching fund for quadratic voting for public goods, Gitcoin rounds, like all sorts of really, really good ideas that they have. Definitely give this thread a read. I think that, I really do think that the EVMavricks would be fantastic people to add to the Oracle DAO. And they would do wonderful things with the money. I don't think they would keep the money for themselves in any way, except to promote public goods for Ethereum, kind of like what Anthony Sassano does with his, right? And I think there's a lot of people in that community who would take running that oDAO node very, very seriously. So this is something I support. Give it a read. Like, let me know your ideas. Go share your ideas and talk about it, because I really hope this happens. Okay, something really great that's happened with Balancer is how they've helped Rocket Pool's rETH token gain liquidity. So they had this tweet thread about it. They said, in less than a year, Balancer Tech has helped facilitate 20x growth in Rocket Pool rETH's liquidity on Ethereum, igniting rapid liquidity growth across the ecosystem. Discover why Balancer is primed to become the liquid stake token LST hub of DeFi. So there's a thread here. So for those of you who don't know, the IMC, which is the Incentives Management Committee, bribes a lot of incentives for rETH, and a whole bunch of those go onto the Balancer protocol to provide liquidity there, because they have something called metastable pools that help you use tokens that accrue value within the token, like over time. They're really, really well designed for tokens like rETH. So here it says, since July of last year, rETH liquidity deposited on Balancer has exploded from 3.2 million to $66 million, and then explaining how rETH supply has grown considerably in that time, and how Balancer has played a crucial role in fulfilling concentrated liquidity source, hosting 13% of rETH on mainnet. So they've got an oversized amount of rETH that they're holding. So this thread goes and gives some really good information about how Balancer works and what they're doing, and how it's a really good place for these kind of tokens. So definitely go and give that a read. It's a really well detailed and like really well laid out a plan and explanation of what they do. Okay, we just got this, just today, this morning, we got this message from Twister, who says, hi all, new market added rETH from Rocket Pool to our lending and borrowing platform on Arbitrum, rETH liquid staking, like you already know what rETH is, and then it goes on to say, allows users to earn returns, and you can increase your returns from 4 to 5% to over 10% with a loan to value LTV ratio of 45%. Users can achieve an annual percentage yield of about 12 to 15% on their underlying rETH. In this scenario, the risk moderators rETH would need to drop by 40% before any liquidations occur. So they're adding some information for that. I am not aware of Twister Finance, but the fact that it's an Arbitrum means that you'll be able to use those services for much less than using something like Aave or on mainnet. But of course, do your own research, like going into these protocols like new. I don't know how battle tested it is. I don't know what kind of audits their contractors have gone through or any of that kind of information. But the fact that they're allowing borrowing and lending on of rETH is definitely useful and helpful for us to grow like that. Okay, so finally I'm going to finish on this tweet from Phiz. So in yesterday's episode we talked about how we reached 2,500 nodes on Rocket Pool. So Phiz had this tweet about it. He says, you can say what you want about Rocket Pool, but I'll stand but I'll stand on a few truths. 1. Rocket Pool brings more decentralized nodes to Ethereum than any other service. 2. Rocket Pool empowers individuals by allowing staking with less than 32 ETH. And 3. Rocket Pool has organized a community committed to decentralization. And then there's a screenshot saying, we have 525,000 ETH staked, and that is with 2,500 node operators. So, yeah. So the community, like, kind of talking about how Phiz was decentration instead of decentralization. There was a whole lot of jokes going about that, and he ended up writing a new tweet. So people were kind of like laughing and joking, and it just brought a really nice positive vibe to the community at the time. So here it says decentricate all the things. so people really enjoying that. So of course, in celebration of that, there was a POAP made, and the POAP, let me bring it up. I'll just show you on my POAP collection, and then I can show it to you from there. So here is the POAP. Was created by Dr. Doofus, and it says on May 2nd, 2003, Rocket Pool surpassed an astonishing 2,500 nodes, tremendous feat worthy of Sparta in its prime, and a hard-fought battle to get here thanks no small part to Maverick, plus the Honourable Didby in a bunny suit in celebration of his HOP Rocket Pool ambassadorship. So if you have a look, you can see the POAP here a little bit in more detail. So there's Lido saying this is for professionals, and then there's Mav kicking the Lido person saying no, this is Rocket Pool. And so with 2,500 mini pool validators is a wonderful achievement, and I think there's going to be more growth to come. So I'm going to finish today's episode on that. There was a whole lot going on, so that was nice. And I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.